Hi everyone, thank you so much for turning out. If you don't know me, my name is Riley. I'm the University News Editor at the Daily Californian. So if you've read anything about gunfire on campus or the ASUC elections, that's coming from me. Here we've got 2 student government reporters. We're introduced.
Hi everyone, I'm Eleanor. I'm a student government reporter. I cover ASUC news and anything else related to the student government.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ani. I'm the other student government reporter, and I do the same thing.
Thank you again for turning out. So, as you may know, the purpose of these debates is to provide a platform for candidates to answer questions about their campaigns and highlight the goals they hope to achieve if elected. The Daily Californian's multimedia department, over there, will be filming these events and they'll post recordings for those of you who can't attend live. Questions at these debates are not shown to candidates ahead of time, and to preserve the editorial independence in the ASUC, the Elections Council has no input or oversight of the question writing process. There are 37 candidates vying for just 20 open seats in the ASUC Senate this year. Not all candidates are here today. Most of you are though, so that's great. And those who are have been organized into 6 groups based on their platforms and responses by a form from the Elections Council. It goes without saying that each candidate has more to their campaign than the slate they were assigned tonight, but we hope that this organization helps illuminate similarities and differences between candidates in key issue areas. The groups are as follows: basic and financial needs, student representation, RSO and admin student relations, academic and professional opportunities, SCSH prevention and public safety, and environmental wellness. Candidates will have a chance to briefly introduce themselves and then have the opportunity to respond to questions from the Daily Cal. A total of 3 candidates can respond to each question. Unlike last year, there is no allocated time for rebuttals, but you may choose to address other answers in your own response. We will then take 1 audience question per section. Candidates will have 45 seconds to respond to each question. Repeat violations of that time constraint will result in being barred from answering further questions. Now we'll have the first group of the night, basic and financial needs. Can we get a round of applause? We have Ed Maxwell, Jacob Lindy, Martin Bertow, Stephen Ramsing, and Justin Taylor. Basic and financial needs encompass everything from food and shelter to healthcare and financial aid. In many cases, the jurisdiction over these necessities falls outside the scope of the ASUC Senate, but representatives can still pledge to make resources more visible and accessible to the student body, and that's exactly what the candidates in this slate are pledging to do. You now have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and your campaign.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Lindy. I'm running on platforms of enhancing Greek life safety, club sports safety, and all-around campus safety, as well as mental health advocacy and as well as sustainability as well.
How's everyone doing tonight? My name is Mark Bertow. What is the ASUC and what is its purpose? Understanding this question can help us understand how the ASUC can do better and how it's failed already. The current administration, people in the current administration of the ASUC, take themselves too seriously and don't take their job serious enough. If you want a senator who's going to help make campus safer, help get clubs more money, and help make housing cheaper on April 8th or April 10th, you better vote for Teo.
Hey everyone, I'm Eddie Maxwell. I'm running on 3 main platforms: basic needs, campus safety, and free law support. I've been in the ACC since I came to Berkeley, first in the legal office, and now chief of staff of a senator and in another senator's office. I've worked on these campaign promises since staying in Berkeley, and you should vote any April 8th.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Ramsing. My platform includes 3 things as well. So my first thing is ensuring free access to essential health products such as COVID test kits, and also free access to therapy, as while we have the CAP program, it's not actually therapy. My second platform is to restructure the DSP program to make sure students get their accommodations on a timely manner. And the third platform is to provide more financial support to out-of-state and international students. Thank you.
Yes, Steven! Woo!
It's not stretching. My name is Justin Taylor, and I want to bring the ASUC outside. When I first started this campaign, I was walking around and I was talking to people, and I had one question: can you name me one senator? And everyone I was talking to just couldn't find a name. And so I think there's really an opportunity for me to come in here and make a real change. My biggest thing is transparency, accessibility, and accountability. I feel like once we got that, everything else is going to trickle down in line because we got the community engagement up in order to make things happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those introductions. So you can all take a seat. You can all take a seat, and then if you're wanting to answer a question, you can come up to the podium, turn on the mic, and then when you're done, turn the mic back off. Our first question. Many of you have included mental health as part of basic needs in your campaigns. How would you advocate for mental health resources if elected?
Just grab the mic. I can just face the room.
You can grab the mic, yeah.
I don't need the mic. I think I want to address mental health resources by first bringing the people together and getting outreach with the community who's having these problems. I think in terms of the ASUC, when you get in there, it's all about creating committee to get outreach. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody on campus to come and tell me what the problems is, and we can see what we already got and where we need to go. And again, I just think number one thing is we got to get everybody in the room. Right? The ASUC is not outside. Nobody knows who we are, so how can they tell us what to do?
So, going off of my platform, a lot of the stuff that So going off my platform, a lot of the issues that I presented are issues that I've had to deal with myself. So like starting off with like the ensuring free access to health products, and specifically the COVID test kit. A lot of people went away for spring break, either going back home or going on vacation, and they're going to come back to campus, and they're not going to get tested. A lot of the times because they just don't have access to it, or are not willing to go to Walgreens and pay the $20 to test themselves. And then my second part was therapy. So I want to partner my best with CAP and the University Health Services to find some kind of program that we can offer to students where they can get free therapy from licensed professionals. Thank you.
Similar to Justin, I think a big part of mental health advocacy is really gaining community engagement. And with that, I think that we can start to make a big difference and truly get input from other people in order to create these initiatives and committees that can deliver on their promises. So one thing that I was thinking of establishing is a mental health hub, and with that, there would be peer-to-peer mentoring, as well as an outreach to younger people, creating a youth initiative that can target at-risk youth as well.
Thank you for those responses. Our second question regards financial aid. Expanding financial aid is largely outside the scope of the ASUC Senate. What other avenues would you explore to increase access to financial aid resources?
Look, while the ASUC can't directly give students more money, we can pressure the university to do so. And the ASUC is student government. We're supposed to be the voices of the students. When we have students paying, freshmen specifically, paying $1,800 for a Unit 3 triple, you know it's time for change. When that triple has black mold growing and you can't even go to the bathroom, you know it's time for change. The ASUC needs to do its job and stand up to the government of UC Berkeley and stop doing their own bidding. We need to stand up, we need to stand up for students, we need to stand up for what the students want, which is more financial aid, cheaper prices, and ultimately a better UC Berkeley.
As an out-of-state student, I pay over $60K a year just to go here. And living in the residence halls, the unfortunate reality is that you're paying a lot more than what you're actually getting. Last semester, I was in an unfortunate situation where I actually couldn't afford to go here. I was here, but not taking classes. I was not registered because I had over $60,000 in debt. And the sad reality is that there's a lot of other out-of-state and international students in the same boat. Not all out-of-state and international students can afford to go here, and that's why I want to partner with the university to offer more scholarships and also have specific financial aid advisors for those students. Thank you.
As you know, the ACC has no visible effect on anything financial We can't give more financial aid, we can't change the price of admissions, but tangible things we can do is lower these burdens, such as food. When it comes to food costs, how many people know where the Berkeley Food Collective is? How many people know how to become a member, where the resources comes from, where the money comes from? How many people knows CalFresh, how to access it, how to apply? When do you need to send in documents so it doesn't get cut off? I'm a recipient of CalFresh. Mine got cut off a month ago because I forgot, I didn't know you had to send in a statement report your finances. I have 2 jobs on campus. I didn't know I had to report that because the Senate doesn't remind us. The people here that support us don't remind us of these things that are supposed to be here.
Switching gears a little bit, free menstrual health products in campus buildings and dorms have gone months without being restocked. If elected, how would you advocate for menstrual health equity on campus?
I think I would advocate for menstrual health. I advocate for women's menstrual health by just, like I'm saying, let's get the people outside. If it's nothing in the bathroom and you can't get your things out the bathroom and the school is right here, let's go outside and do it. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the picket line, I've been in the canvassing, and I think the only way you can really get something done is if you're outside in the people's face. I think I'm running on a radical ticket, and I'm thinking if this is what's going on, I'm saying let's get outside and let's organize.
Yeah, similar response. I think a big part of it is community engagement again. Possibly installing text message systems where people can text when a menstrual product is out of stock or anything like that. Could create a direct flow to restock and help with that situation.
Providing access to menstrual health products was also part of my first platform topic, and I think community engagement is very important, but I think we have to dive into the root of the problem. Why aren't they getting restocked? Is it a lack of money going into it? Is it a lack of the availability of those resources? So really pressuring the university to figure out why aren't they being restocked, and then from there, we can go into having them, similarly to how you file a maintenance request when things are broken, they file a maintenance request when they're out of stock. So that pressures the university or alerts them that they're out of stock, you need to go restock them. Thank you.
All right. As you guys have already touched on a little bit, housing is one issue that looms large in the conversation around basic needs for students. What plans do you have to address the student housing crisis?
Well, first of all, I like the word in the question, because we need to start calling it what it is. It's a crisis. When you have students, freshmen specifically, who are not able to find housing, when you have students living in their cars beyond their first year because the university doesn't guarantee housing, the University of California needs to start doing its job in providing students with housing. This is the #1 public university in the world. I don't care about UCLA. We're the #1 public university in the world, and we need to start giving people what they pay for. When you come to UC Berkeley, you should not worry about housing. You should not worry about any of this. We need to support administration efforts to build on people's part, to build more housing, and we need to start calling out the administration when we have poor housing standards and when we have, quite frankly, a housing crisis at UC Berkeley that needs to be solved.
I think it's interesting that we're talking about solving the housing crisis when the answer is in the room. I'm thinking if we're the ASUC, we're supposed to be the student representatives. I'm thinking we got access to every single resident registered student organization on campus. How about we get in touch with everybody on campus? We do surveillance, we get in tune with what everybody needs, and we make committees. We make committees to go about and hold the local real estate organizations accountable. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that this is really something that, I think it's a real big problem, and I'm thinking if we've got power as elected officials in the university, we could hold the school accountable because the school is partnering with these people, they let them walk on campus. Shoot, you know what I'm saying? You can see these real estate groups outside every day, and they'll throw $2,000 at you like it's nothing.
So I'm not going to sit up here and say I can fix the housing crisis crisis on cannabis as a senator in the ASUC, but what we can do is increase accessibility. We can have a housing fair on Lower Sprout. We can talk about culturally sensitive housing as well. With me, I know the biggest problem in finding housing as a religious Jew living with other Jews, making sure I had kosher options where I live, making sure the people around me not only understood what I was going through, but had empathy. That's the thing missing when talking about the housing crisis, is empathy, respectability, looking at students that may not have housing, and giving them the resources and accessibility, and culturally sensitive, also, accessibility to these housing options as well. We can talk about ending the crisis, but what can we actually do in the Senate?
Moving on to our final question for this group. The Basic Needs Center offers several services related to food, housing, and financial needs. How would you collaborate with the Basic Needs Center to make its services more visible to students?
One of the best ways to get the word out to students is social media. We're a young generation. A lot of us are on Instagram. We need to be doing a whole lot more posting and a whole lot more, reminding people of when the deadlines are and how to apply for what they need. The answer to this really boils down to the ASUC needs to do its darn job. Senators need to stop taking themselves so seriously and start taking their job a lot more seriously. The job of senators is to represent their students and, quite frankly, to fight for what their students who elected them want. And that's what we need to start doing. From basic needs, to housing, to club support, to campus safety, the ASUC needs to start doing its damn job.
Last semester, when I was going through my situation, I also faced housing and food insecurity. And a lot of it I have to navigate on my own. And a lot of it did come from the Basic Needs Center. And so, in doing so, this was accessing the emergency fund, accessing the food pantry that's in MLK. I did not know about that before this semester, or last semester. And I think the best way to do that, beyond just social media, is also just being visibly present on campus, like tabling on our profile about the Basic Needs Center, almost like once or twice a week, and also sending out emails to students about the resources. Not just if you sign up for the Basic Needs Center, just providing at the very get-go, all the students, not just those who sign up. Thank you.
The Basic Needs Center offers several services related to food, housing, and financial needs. How would you collaborate with the Basic Needs Center to make its services more visible to students?
As I've already prompted, I think the most important aspect of the basic needs is the food pantry. This is a food pantry. You can come in, get food like rice, cereal, milk, once a week at certain times, but it's accessibility. I know this because I had to deep dive and I rely on this service. How many people know about this? How many people could go, when to go? Also, you can collaborate with the Berkeley Food Panel and the Food Collective to go on this route and show people. The ASUC has lacked in the responsibility of constantly pushing the idea of constantly pushing and supporting these resources. They're hidden away on our website, and we're like, it's online, they can go and find it. When it's our job, responsibility to constantly show people, this is where you go, this is the time.
All right, we will now take one question from the audience. Raise your hand.
Come on. Let's get one hand in here.
Who do you plan to collaborate with to get the menstrual products stocked on regular basis?
I'll take this one. You're asking me specifically?
Anyone?
To the board. Thank you. Excuse me. Let me put this down. In terms of advocating for menstrual projects, I think y'all should elect me the Senate. I'm telling you this. We have an open office hours, we have an open town hall, we have an open etc. I'm trying to connect with as many people as I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mr. Let's bring the ASUC outside, so I'm gonna be outside. I think the biggest thing to answer your question is really it's really the outreach, right? Because people can come in and people can tell you what's the problem. You come to office hours, town halls. Section 3 of the Constitution advocates for office hours, and not a single senator has them. I'm thinking if people know what the problem is, I can come to the meeting, here we go, and then it's on the agenda. Thank you very much.
We can take 2 more responses.
So I think the best way is just to partner with other campus organizations and partnerships. So first finding out where the school first gets those products from, and then finding out if we're still able to partner with them, and if so, how can we increase the capacity that we receive? Do we need to funnel in more funds towards that specific, or do we need to find other organizations to partner with? Also seeing if we can partner with the University Health Services as well for this initiative. Thank you.
When it comes to menstrual products, I'm not a woman. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't understand what's going on. I have no place to be up here talking as a man on the phone with you guys. I think it really drives community engagement. We really need to step out. We really need to collaborate with women to fully understand what's going on here and not try to mansplain this. Because I and correct places to collaborate with. And I'm sure there's beautiful places like that on campus. But I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't part of my initial platforms, but now I'm reconsidering things. So thank you for that question.
All right, thank you all. Can we get a round of applause for our first group? Our next group is student representation. If you guys want to come up. The candidates for this section are Tony Ortega, Carlos Julian Gonzalez, Tony Artifanian, Carlos Julian Gonzalez, Shaya Kavenfar, Owen Napper Jr., and Medina Denish. Nearly every candidate tonight is running to represent one or more communities, whether that be an ethnic identity or an enrollment designation such as transfer students. The candidates selected for this group have made that platform a critical component of their campaigns, and we're excited to hear more about their ideas to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion. Candidates, you will now have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and your campaign.
Hi everyone, my name is Medina Donish, or Medina, and I am the official MEMSA endorsed candidate for this term. I've been in MEMSA for as long as I've been at Cal, so I'm very excited about this opportunity. I'm a second-year student, and I'm majoring in global studies with a concentration in peace and conflict in the Middle East. My platforms are as easy as ABCD, all-inclusive, working beyond Berkeley, making more community centers, and strengthening our diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Owen Napper Jr. I am a sophomore here at the University of California, Berkeley, majoring in political science with a minor in ethnic studies. I am running to be your next ASUC Senator, coming from the Black community as the #1 Black community endorsed candidate, as well as serving in the ASUC for 2 years as the Chief of Staff. I am passionate about advocating for equity, inclusion, and belonging, advancing the African and Black agenda, academic and professional opportunities, and student wellness and safety. Thank you.
Hi
Hi everyone, my name is Shaya Kavonfar. I'm here because my #1 platform is the Jewish community and being representation for every student. I was 100% unanimously voted by the Jewish Student Union to represent the Jewish community, so I'm very honored to be here. And I would take my job very seriously and be the voice for the Jewish students, the majority of Jewish students, and listen to what they're saying and be transparent.
Hello everyone, my name is Carlos Gonzalez. I'm humbled and honored to say that I am the Latina endorsed senator up here and the QT plus endorsed senator, representing those marginalized voices on campus. Look around us. See how many marginalized students and people of color are lacked in the ASUC. We deserve that representation. We deserve to be in the ASUC Senate, and I want to make sure our voices are heard and executed.
Hello everyone, my name is Tony and I am running for the ASUC Senate because I want to bring back transfer students into our legislative body. Folks, we have 21% of students here at Cal that are undergraduates, but most importantly, transfer undergraduates, and they don't have that proper representation right now. I think it's time for me to fill in that void and be that first senator back into the Senate to represent our community. I'm also running on platforms other than transfer student success, such as pre-professional opportunities and Armenian and Iranian community support. It's great to be here and I'm happy to answer questions.
Take your seats. As a reminder, you can come up to the podium and turn the mic on and then turn it off when you leave. Each of you is running to represent a certain community on campus, but if elected to the ASU Senate, you would also represent the student body as a whole. How would you strike a balance between advocating for your community group and working for the needs of every student on campus?
Hi everyone, I mentioned this earlier, but I'm here to be a voice for all students and bring the ASUC back to talking about students on campus and how we can focus on building bridges and success between different students. How can we learn from each other? That's what we're here to do. So I want to have town halls, just like Justin said before. I want to bring the ASUC outside and hear what people have to say and bring people in one room together, because that's what we should be doing. We should be listening to each other and making it more accessible for students to know what's happening in the ASUC so that they can ask me for things to do and I can actually do them properly. Thank you.
Thank you for that response. When I first joined the ASUC, I joined because I saw a lack of diversity and transparency when it came to registered student organizations. I started as an Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging intern in the Office of the President, and from that experience, I joined because I wanted to make change not only for my community, but bridge the gap between marginalized communities on campus as well as within the Black community. Standing before you today, I am a student of an individual who was formerly incarcerated. I am a student of an individual who's a student parent. My sister was a transfer student, so I understand the needs that all of us students may face in terms of coming from different backgrounds and perspectives. So one thing that I want to focus on is advocating for my community, having transparency with other communities, and using those experiences to bridge that gap.
Collaboration is the key thing I've heard in that. How will we, as senators, encourage collaboration amongst us? We're in front of a diverse audience, one of a team that I feel really proud to be representing. I'm proud to represent the LGBTQ community and the Latinx community. And I'm going to increase those initiatives and make sure that us as senators and as senators in this audience collaborate on these initiatives. I have a conference idea in mind, and I want to make sure that these workshops are housed in collaboration with one another. We want to make sure that we are having each other's backs and we are supporting each other, because cross-collaboration and intersectionality is something that we all face, and being able to unite that together is something that will strive us far.
The next question is, diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice are all important goals to each of your campaigns. What is one tangible platform you have to further those ideas in the ASUC Senate?
As serving as a resident assistant on campus, I understand the needs of students when it comes to basic needs, as well as student theme programs, life, and representation. One of the main focuses that I have been working on during my time as chief of staff is working to establish for my community is the HBCU exchange program. Working on that and repiloting that exchange program is pivotal to the success of African American students and individuals. In addition to this, I have started the conversation when it comes to anchor housing, looking into how would theme programs look for students who are transfer individuals coming into the University of California, Berkeley. We understand the needs that students face when it comes to adjusting. And if we can't adjust, and it's difficult for us to just imagine the individuals of transfer students. And I would do this through collaboration with my running mate and other officials who are elected.
In order for us to embrace the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion as legislators of our students, it's important that we're not just representing our communities as only demographics of UC Berkeley, but also significant drivers of UC Berkeley. It's important that we invite them to the decision-making table, to have them come to forums, to be collaborating with us on our projects and the programs we want to legislate and make possible. To do that, we must recognize that we are all students, willing and able and wanting to make the change necessary for this campus. I want to make improvements because I know transfer students need representation. I want to make improvements because I want to show that the Armenian and Iranian communities are part of this campus. And most importantly, as a student, I want to show that we can all embrace one another by working together. And it's through that unity that we can achieve victory.
DIJ is important for any identity-based community. However, within my platforms, I'm planning on increasing DIJ within my office through trainings for our members so that everyone could be well informed so that they could act appropriately and organize appropriately. As a senator, I plan to increase DIJ efforts within the ASUC and the body of senators as well. For example, as the legislative director of MEMSA this year, we helped pass an Islamophobia training bill, which was greatly lacking, whereas there are other bias-related trainings. This is important for our community who are often overlooked. So including that type of work within the senator body and also within the office is important.
Many communities on campus have been historically underrepresented in the ASUC Senate. If elected, how would you ensure there is lasting change beyond your own term?
There's going to be a new chancellor next year. And to be real, the chancellor might be like the same as this chancellor. The chancellor might prevent itself from being able to meet with senators. But you know who they will meet with? With the ASUC Executive Vice President and President. So that means I will be making sure to team up with the Executive President and the President to make sure that their needs are met when we want to lobby those bills and provide that representation. I want to create a commission that is just like how we see the commission with the chancellor. Latina students get to partake in the administration decision for the chancellor, and I want to create that for current administration positions, new administration positions that are created, and making sure that underrepresented groups are established in those decision makings.
A big part of my platform is building bridges, and I think that as long as we can support each other as communities, and as we said before, collaboration, I think that's the most important step to making sure that underrepresented communities keep showing up in the ASUC and keep getting their voices heard, because we can actually uplift each other. We want to uplift people that aren't even in the community that we're endorsed by. We're here for everyone, and that's what I want to do. Thank you.
We have time for one more candidate.
To achieve this, I'm going to be focusing on education collaboration. Those two are very important when it comes to my platforms. Education is important because I know that as an Armenian and an Iranian, I didn't feel the voices being represented in the legislative body whenever Azerbaijan attacked Artsakh in Armenia. I didn't feel those voices being represented whenever women life freedom was continuing to be chanted, but then a memorial was then taken down just a couple days later. I didn't feel those voices being represented as transfer students when we only have 0 of them in the Senate. By educating as well, we can work with one another, such as our commissions, our councils, our clubs, and make sure that everyone is aware of who we are as communities and the fact that we drive this school, the fact that we are part of this school, and that we are ready to empower this university just as it has empowered us.
Transparency in the ASUC has been an issue with this class of senators, such as with meeting attendance and proper meeting recordings. How will you hold the ASUC accountable to the students it represents?
From working in the ASUC, one thing that I have noticed is that when it comes to transparency between communities of color, there's a huge gap. And not only for students who are outside of the ASUC, but also individuals who are within the ASUC. By a show of hands, how many of the individuals have had a hard time accessing the ASUC when it comes to funding and other resources? A lot. And when you look in this row straight ahead, some of these individuals are in elected positions and have served in the ASUC for several years. When it comes to transparency and acknowledging this, I think it's important to have conversations with the OASIS advisors, as well as other administration leaders, not just the chancellor, but letting the individuals know who sit over these resources that, hey, we have the resources, let's allocate them to individuals and let's help them succeed.
I want to talk to people, and I want to use my Instagram. And that's the #1 way that I'm going to get engagement from my community and hopefully other communities to come to the ASUC, to talk to me, to reach out to me. I'm going to have an open suggestions box so that people tell me what they need. And I want to make sure that people know what's actually happening in the ASUC. So I'm going to have weekly updates to talk about what happens in the ASUC and what my office got done.
Transparency is a much needed thing. The action plan I plan on taking is ensuring that in my media platforms, I have a concurrent Google document that is ensuring every project I'm working on and the dates and everything organized and structured on my media platform to say that my projects are being proposed but executed through. Sometimes we pitch ideas, but that needs to be taken with action steps. And I'm all about action. I'm about taking those steps and making sure that they follow through so that we can ensure that diversity inclusion is created and we as representatives from our community, marginalized communities on campus, are represented and making sure that those items are represented and pulled through and executed.
Yeah.
This is going to be your last question. ASUC senators come from a variety of backgrounds and experiences. How will you foster collaboration across race, gender, socioeconomic status, and other identities?
The beautiful thing about MEPSA is that it's so diverse, yet so united under a similar struggle. But within MEPSA, there are the unique identities and minorities within the minority. So within the acronym, there are the minorities, for example, Sikh Punjabi students. Advocating for them specifically is super, super important, whereas they're caught at the crossroads of intersectional struggle. Furthermore, MEPSA queer students are also put at a further disadvantage and have a very niche identity-based struggle. So increasing more resources for them through collaborations with, say, CAP Center and other identity-based organizations is really important to make sure that they feel represented and included on campus.
I think a key part to starting collaboration is working straight to the Ethnic Studies Department on campus. They have institutional barriers and institutional resources for us, but we need to be the ones that are talking to them, talking to our departments, ensuring that there's collaboration amongst academia. Then we can bring that down and figure out how those statistics work within us as ASUC senators and ways we, as collaborations and as leaders, student leaders, can take action to further execute those proposals. The Ethnic Studies Department is our solution, our way to make that solution and pull through and execute those proposals.
As a chief of staff for the transfer student representative, one of the most important goals for me is engagement. In order for us to be transparent to our students, in order for us to have communities represented, and most importantly to be reflective of the students that make up this campus, it's all about engagement. Ensuring that students are part of the conversation. Ensuring that our commissions, our councils, our clubs are working with us and giving us their ideas and perspectives of what we need to be focused on. Ensuring that we as students are involved in the policy-making process that drives the ASUC. When we bring people into the work we do, then we can actually get work done. That is why I'm going to run. That is why I think I can achieve this. And that is why I think representation is so important within the ASUC.
We will now take a one question from the audience.
What inspired you to apply to be senator?
Could you repeat that?
What inspired you guys to apply to be senator?
One of the key tasks and initiatives and things that have inspired me to become a senator was within my role as vice chair for the ASUC Grants and Scholarship Foundation. This Grants and Scholarship Foundation allocates over $150,000 to community organizations on campus. And I was part of that decision-making process. There were 6 other trustee members who were upperclassmen, who were followers, who were sharing that they were not support of cultural organizations because of wording, because of how they structured it. I didn't agree with that. I was not a follower. I advocated on behalf of their proposal, and we were able to create and fund those cultural initiatives. I will do that.
Well, I can say one thing that inspired me is a lack of diversity within the ASUC. As many of you may know, this is my second time running for the ASUC senator, but that's okay. I've learned a lot in terms of when it comes to transparency and institutional knowledge that individuals may lack. But when I first stepped onto campus, I knew from that day on, as working as an intern, distributing nearly $100,000 to cross-cultural organizations on campus through registered organizations, the organizations knew that there was financial assistance for them, but had issues when it came to actually having them allocated to them. I want to make sure that regardless if elected or not, that I am continuing to be a fearless leader and not a reckless leader. If I don't do it, who else is going to do it? And that's my why, that's what I tell my community.
As some of you may or may not know, this year has been the first year in MEMSA's history that we did not get a MEMSA senator elected. And given all the issues that our community goes through, it's absolutely crucial that we have proper representation within the ASUC. But on a more personal note, I was interested in becoming senator ever since I was a freshman in the MEMSA office, particularly the MEMSA senator. I just saw myself growing into the role, and I saw that there's a lot of good work you could do with it, and I was able to work towards that in my other positions. I grew in, within the office, such as legislative director and vice chair. So I just think there's a lot of work you could do within the role, and this just really enables me to serve my community at best.
A big round of applause for this group of
Is RSO and advocacy conclusion, so you guys can come on up.
Yes, Althea! Looking so pretty up there! Woo!
Jonathan Nye, Mason Galapa, Jonathan Franco, and Michael Baylor. So doling out money and space for registered student groups is an important duty for those in the ASUC. Being elected also allows students to directly interact with campus administration in a way they can't as regular students. But with great power comes great responsibility, and the candidates in this group have wide-ranging goals for how they will wield that power if elected. Candidates, you will now have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and your campaign.
Hello everyone, I'm Anthea. I'm a second year and I've been heavily involved with the ASUC and RSS for the past 2 years. From being president of the Hong Kong Student Association to the current external vice president of the Asian American Association, I have first-hand experience of the struggles that RSO face with ASUC funding. Where does our money go? How do we get that funding? And there's just so many questions with navigating it, and I hope to be that liaison for RSS to understand how they will get their money in the future.
Yeah!
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I want to start this off with a number. 37%. Out of 1,200 student organizations on our campus, that is the percentage that managed to apply to ASUC successfully. I, as an RSO leader in organizations like HKSA, know very well the issues of the accessibility and transparency. And the solution is being able to go to RSOs, to listen to them, to understand their challenges and priorities, and then to be able to provide personalized solutions. Understanding, relevancy, reliability. That's what I want to bring to the ASUC. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Maitri Halva, and I'm a second year studying econ with a minor in sustainable business and policy. I also want to start off with a number, $3 million. That's the amount in student service fees that we pay every single academic year. It is extremely important for us to have accurate representation in the Senate because students' needs are constantly being underserved while we are overpaying. This is why I'm super proud to be the South Asian Caucus endorsed candidate, and I'm really ready to represent the needs of not only my community, but every single community on this campus.
Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Franco. I'm a second year studying political science, and the reason why I'm running for Senate is to hold the administration accountable and representing the Latino community, to uphold our needs. Next year as a senator, I will be able to uphold Latino community excellence and welfare, student retention, and public service and pre-professional opportunities. Students need support and to have spaces. I've talked to the Latino community and many communities beyond my own community. We need this space and we need to address that need. We need to address these needs to make sure that we have the space allocations to do so.
Second year here at Cal. And did you know our African American population currently stands at 4.4%? Did you know that our spirit teams are unable to establish the pivotal aspect of collegiate cheer? I am running for ASUC to spread awareness and to advocate on behalf of minority groups, spirit teams, and students' overall benefit. Thank you.
Yes, we'll take a seat, so we're going to get started on the questions. The first is, what is one tangible idea you have to improve collaboration between administration and students?
As a 2-year member of Cal's cheerleading team, I've been able to firsthand experience the lack of resources that we've been attaining. We aren't able to have early enrollment. We lack the same tutors and resources that every other athlete is able to obtain. Meanwhile, we're working all year through football and basketball season. So when working with both students' rights and the spirit team and trying to merge what we deserve in the acknowledgement, I hope that running for ASUC will give me the platform for a better campus.
Hi everyone. So I currently serve as Chief of Staff to Senator Caitlin Gunsel's office, and we serve the Berkeley dance community. Recently, our campus faced an active shooter altercation in which the lives of dancers on this campus were threatened, and in response, we passed a resolution with over 230 co-sponsors completely revitalizing BDC, which was once not super connected to our office, And we were able to open that door to administration to really advocate for our space and funding needs and our safety needs. And I really truly believe that ASUC being a very viable form of student government, one of the best out of all of the UCs, we need to utilize policy and legislation to open those doors to administration to really advocate and fight for our needs on this campus.
So what is one tangible idea you have to improve collaboration between administration and students?
One key initiative that was started this year in the ASUC office of Andrea Jimenez is having events like Mercadito. The Mercadito is an event that is for the Latino community that hosts our intersectional identities. Not only have we collaborated with 25 RSOs out of the 32 Latina RSOs here on campus, but I really want to be able to continue this initiative and make sure we highlight and place an importance on the intersectional identities that are within the Latino community, the indigenous community, the Afro-Latino community, the Central and South American students. And I really want to be able to make sure and take this to the administration and make sure that we not only have their input, but also celebrate the differences and hold that together index in place for the Latina Thriving Initiative that will be in place by 2025.
Okay, our next question is, the recent protests at Sather Gate in support of Palestine have been a point of contention between administration and students. How will you bridge that divide between admin and students?
As somebody who's been wanting to run for the Senate for a really long time, I have been going to every single Senate meeting religiously. And the last one with the Chancellor was not a good one. The Chancellor and administration didn't listen to the needs of our current senators and barely listened to our voices. And I can't speak directly to the protest that is happening on Sather Gate because that's not a community that I personally identify with. But when students have these strong urges and needs to protest for their lives and for their safety, any community, I think it's very important that we prioritize that and take importance of that and really contend with administration to make sure that they hear us out because they have had a really bad track record of doing so.
Okay, I think transparency, cohesion, and collaboration is a very important aspect of our Berkeley community. With what has been happening on campus, I think it is imperative for us as leaders to understand the needs and the wants of our student body, as we cannot be leaders without understanding who are we leading and what would they genuinely need from us as leaders. So moving forward with admin and as students, we have to continue pushing forward our initiatives and helping them understand what we have been going through as students to allow them to know that this is what we as students hope from them and what we can provide to make Berkeley a better community where we can listen to our peer voices and understand how we as leaders, as ASUC senators, can assist our student body in creating a better Berkeley.
We have time for one more candidate.
I think student representation and advocacy, especially when it comes to transparency and cohesion with administration issues, is a very important issue that requires, honestly, a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding. Being able to listen to, like other candidates have mentioned, concerns in our communities. That means, but also being able to gather the facts. That means putting things together like a toolkit, like petition letters, being able to get people in the same group, to talk about what happened, have important conversations, and then being able to build relationships with administrators, with students, to actually get things done. Because when we're not talking to each other, nothing happens. Thank you.
As you previously mentioned, completing applications to receive ASUC funding can be a difficult process for RSOs to navigate, and clubs can receive as much as $100,000 or as little as $100. How do you plan on supporting organizations in this process?
As I've mentioned, I have led RSOs in various contexts, And me being an arson leader, I have been time and time again frustrated of how to keep our club afloat, what to do when we don't have enough funding. And with that, being involved in the ASUC and having arson experience, I would hope to host one-on-one sessions with arson leaders who would like to speak to me about how does the ASUC funding work, how do we apply, what are we expecting from them, and being transparent of what we expect so that they have no question when we give them the amount that the ASUC is giving to them, that they're not questioning why are we giving that amount of money, what was that process like. And I think it should be an equal opportunity for all clubs across campus, no matter their size or the culture that they're representing.
Being in the ASUC, I've been able to work in the office of Andrea Jimenez, who sits on the finance committee. Being a part of her office, I've served as making resources accessible for her office, like APSA, and understanding not only what APSA is, but how we provide foundational funding for students here on campus. I've worked to make funding more accessible in terms of not only how to get the grants and scholarships out to the ASUC, but I really want to be able to make that conversation and have office hours for organizations to not only come to me, but students as well, to not only understand what funding is available through the ASUC Grants and Scholarship Committee, but being able to make things accessible and comprehensive as I have in her office. It's super hard to access services like Berkeley event services, making things like that. Thank you so much.
Having worked in both ASUC for 2 years and being a part of multiple cultural RSOs on campus, I'm very familiar with just the bureaucracy, the lack of accessibility, even just the lack of literacy to navigate through grants, funds, all the different resources that are on campus offered by the ASUC. And I think it takes not just putting out a lot of resources, putting out a lot of different opportunities, but like I said before, going to RSOs, going to groups, saying, hey, what do you need to get done? Do you need money for a cultural festival? Do you need money for a banquet? And then tailoring our opportunities. Because the ASUC does offer a lot, whether it's funds, grants, or other opportunities. It's about making that information digestible and making it comfortable for leaders in our communities to take advantage.
So our next question is, how do you plan on making RSOs more accessible to disabled students?
I can speak a little bit to this. My first ASUC involvement was with Senator Carlos Vasquez, and he's graduated, but he's been one of my biggest mentors in my time here at Cal. And our biggest platform was supporting the Disabled Student Commission and just supporting disabled student resources across this campus in every single department that we have. And I think it's really important for us to just promote collaboration. Even though I'm the South Asian Caucus Indoor Senator, I am going to be focusing on the South Asian community and making sure that our caucus runs smoothly. But I want to ensure that there's enough collaboration between all of the senators, between executives in the ASUC and RSOs, because our identities are intersectional. It is really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Maitri. What Maitri spoke on is making things accessible. When planning events as senators, we need to make sure that our events are not only accessible to the disabled community, but the intersectional identities between them. We need to make sure that where we're holding events are only accessible for every student to go to. It's not okay for people not to be able to participate in events that are not provided grants or accessible to not only through Zoom or any student here on this campus. We need to work on transparency, and we need to make sure that everything we're doing is intentional and making sure we have captions, alternate captions on our Instagram posts through our Senate accounts, and making sure that the places we're holding our events provide it as well.
As Jonathan and Maitri have both mentioned already on spreading awareness and advocating, I do find it important to focus on social media platforms and constantly voicing these concerns and sending flyers out to these disabled communities so they can have a better understanding of the funding that is provided and the resources that we can provide through ASUC. Also, the idea of collaboration with all of us working together. I find it important to have an ASUC who is determined to learn more about our student body and focus on implementing new ideas and new funds and constantly working to raise money for these groups during their time at Cal.
Our final question, competitive RSOs such as consulting clubs frequently lack socioeconomic and racial diversity. How do you encourage these clubs to better reflect the diversity of the student body?
So diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that has become especially important to me this year. I've been super involved in the ASUC because I love student government. I've been in leadership in my whole life. But I decided to branch out and join a different student government this year. I joined HBSA. And that really taught me a really different approach to government in more of a business context. And I have seen how consulting orgs can be not like pretty homogenous in terms of the diversity in their organizations. One of my main platforms is wellness, inclusivity, and belonging, and I want to mandate DEI training for all RSOs across campus. We have already begun working on that in the DEI committee for HSOs, HOS-sponsored organizations, and mandating DEI presentations there, but education is really important to fixing that.
Yeah, thank you, Mikey, for that response. I think that's amazing, the work, the programs, and workshops that we provide to ourselves like consulting clubs. I think time after time again, we have students who may be transfer students who are getting rejected from consulting clubs, or people who feel like there's a social, economic boundary between RSOs. And I think it's really important for clubs to be educated and know that these people within our student body have backgrounds that can add to their club and make them flourish. And I think it's really important that we continue to emphasize that within the ASUC and beyond, giving them programs and workshops to understand how to implement DEI within their clubs and how they are important factors to Berkeley community and their clubs as well. Thank you.
How many people have heard the sentiment that, oh, once you become a junior, you can't get into clubs anymore? I feel like, especially with consulting clubs and different, especially competitive professional clubs, that's a very common sentiment. And especially for transfer students that come in as juniors, that's an even worse deal. This is something, however, that can be worked towards. And a big, big part of the issue is just the culture and Berkeley's work culture surrounding what we expect and what we demand. I think ideas that other candidates have mentioned are brilliant ideas, like workshops and support, finding out ways to open up the conversation. But I think it also takes being able to address the culture and help push people towards readjusting priorities such that they can better accommodate more needs and see the value in diversity. Thank you.
We will now take one question from the audience.
When y'all are asked about how, tangible things you do to increase RSO support, I think maybe one person gave something actually tangible that they would do as a senator, and the rest just kind of explain what RSOs are in. I would like to ask again, the main thing with this platform is RSO support. So what's something, again, tangible as an ASUC senator that you will do if you are elected?
Hi, I would love to answer that question. So, as I mentioned, my involvement in HBSA has given me completely new approaches to student government. And one of the things I've been able to do is work to secure $15K in corporate sponsorships outside of HBSA to fund our DEI initiatives. And this past month on the campaign trail, I've been able to speak to a lot of the caucus organizations in the South Asian community, and I've directly heard what their needs and their concerns are, and it's funding and spaces. So spaces, I want to advocate to administration and get in the room with them and talk to them, but in terms of funding, what I tangibly want to do is go outside of the HBS or ASUC and get corporate sponsorships, and lots of these caucus orgs have ideas on what specifically they want. Dance orgs want, okay, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that
that question, I would really like to emphasize that when becoming an ASUC senator, I would really hope to host one-on-one sessions with RSO leaders, not only to go over ASUC funding, right, but how to lead them as a leader. A lot of people who are RSO leaders may not be familiar with how to lead an RSO, what that process is like. I would like to have that sit-down conversation, be going through what ASUC funding looks like, what leading a club looks like, and what that process to them will look like in the coming semester or year. Furthermore, I would like to host mixers between clubs to not only start that conversation between RSOs and have that collaboration between RSOs, but also for them to familiarize them with us and helping them gain familiarity of the people that they are working with in the ASUC.
Thank you so much, Lee, for this question. As a senator, I really want to be able to talk directly to the organizations that are part of the Latino community, but also as well talk to key stakeholders within the community. We have the LSRC director, Lupe Gallegos, and during this campaign trail, I talked to her about what it takes to put on the Latina graduation, what it takes to not only maintain the LSRC, but also make sure that organizations are able to book this space, to have a space here on this campus. The Latina community does not have spaces on this campus. And I really, as a senator, I really want to look towards the possibility of making sure we have free poly ballroom reservations and talking to the RSO leaders, not to only have cross collaboration and understanding the intersectionalities within our community, because they need to be addressed. The Latina community here at this campus is Mexican-centric, and I really want to start some conversations. Great stuff.
Thank you all. Let's do a round of applause for all these candidates. We'll now be taking a 5-minute intermission.
For candidates on platforms of academic and professional opportunities, we have Daily Californian, Marquez Morales, Mira Maquidara, and Annabelle Wang.
Thank you.
Many students chose to attend UC Berkeley due to the robust academic and professional opportunities available, especially for those pursuing law or medical school. But making these resources more equitable and accessible remains the challenge of today, and these candidates have pledged to accomplish that and more if elected. You'll now have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and your campaign.
Yeah, Kaylee!
Hi everyone, my name is Keely Escobar-Islas, and I'm a second year here at UC Berkeley. I'm majoring in both political science and legal studies with a minor in public policy. I'm a first-generation low-income student from the Central Valley, and I'm here to advocate for my 4 platforms: Latina community excellence, public service opportunities, registered student organization support, and sexual violence, sexual SVSH prevention and education. Thank you.
Yeah, Kaylee!
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nathan Miranda, and the one thing I want you to know about my campaign is that I am community-centered. I'm honored to be endorsed by the Berkeley dance community, and I'll be advocating for the Asian American and Southeast Asian communities as well. They've helped me feel so connected to this campus, and I want to do the same for them. I've had the privilege of serving on the cabinet of the ASUC president, where I've learned to enact change through student government, and now I want to give back to the student body as a whole. My journey started in the APO department, so I'm so excited to share more about this prominent platform for me with you all tonight.
As a current member of the Black Pre-Law Association, a member of the Haas Undergraduate Black Business Association, and as a chief of staff for the Black Community-Endorsed Senator's Office, I've had the extreme honor and privilege to serve and lead individuals alongside me. My name is Tamara Martin, and I'm a current junior majoring in Ancient Greek and Roman Studies, French, a minor in French, and African American Studies. My main platforms are Black community representation and excellence, pre-professional opportunities, and mental health awareness and SVSH prevention.
Hi everyone, I hope you had a good spring break. My name is Esteban Marquez Morales. I'm a 3rd year studying political science and philosophy with aspirations of attending law school. And I'm running on 3 platforms that I'm incredibly passionate about. My first platform is Vida Comunidad, Cultivating Latina Achievement. My second platform is Legal Leadership, Empowering Pre-Law Excellence. And my third platform is Campus Compassion, Facilitating Civic Involvement and Social Impact.
Hi everyone, my name is Mira. I'm a first-year pre-med MCP and business major. In regards to academic achievement and professional development, pre-health students do exceptionally well. However, I believe this is due to individual achievement rather than institutional support. What we need is a bridge between the resources that Cal offers to us students and a way to accessibly utilize them, and I hope to be this. My platforms are Free Health Matters, Community Service, and South Asian representation. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Annabelle Wang, and I'm a second year. I started working at ASUC as a freshman, and both years I've been working under the Office of the Senators, working towards the East Asian community and the international student community. And this work experience has allowed me to realize that what we need to do is to advocate for the recognition of needs of students coming from diverse backgrounds with leveled access to pre-professional resources. And these are challenges and needs that I will be addressing if I were elected.
Thank you for the introductions. You may all have a seat. Our first question. UC Berkeley has a myriad of both academic and professional opportunities available, but many students don't know how to access them. How would you help students learn about and take advantage of these opportunities?
Thank you. So, as a Black student on campus, I understand how difficult and hard it may be as a student in general to find opportunities pertaining to specific career goals and opportunities. As someone who's interested in the legal field and pursuing a career someday, I would like to have accessible opportunities presented to me. It has not always been like this, and as students at Berkeley, we have the privilege of having these opportunities, but not all students have the privilege of being a part or having them presented to them properly. One way I would like to incorporate these opportunities is by creating resource guides. In the Black Community Endorsed Senator's office, who I serve for currently, we are currently making a Black Community Resource Guide, and I intend to improve that with professional resource guides.
The pre-health community is very vast. We have pre-med, pre-dental, pre-nursing, and it's also very divided. It's hard to get resources, say if you're a pre-med and you're looking to cross into nursing resources as well. What I propose is creating an online platform, whether that be a website, a Google Doc, or even an Instagram page that can have all of these resources for students so that they can learn more about the community, as well as creating a roundtable with all of the pre-health clubs, RSOs, so that they're able to collaborate with the ideas and the resources that they already have, as well as what they need to change or make new for, so that we can create a collaborative and comprehensive program for all pre-health students.
My second platform is Legal Leadership, and it seeks to empower pre-law excellence. And one of the main initiatives I want to tackle through this platform is developing a mentorship program in collaboration with Berkeley Law to enhance career services on campus. This would provide students with counseling so that they're able to explore diverse career options, as well as allow them to develop strategic ways to search for jobs once they graduate. In addition to that, I also want to facilitate networking opportunities, career fairs, and employee panels so that students have the opportunity to directly interact with professionals that are in their inspiring careers. Thank you.
Thank you all. Some students, including many of you, know exactly what they want to do after finishing their undergraduate education on campus. How would you support students who do not know what they want to pursue after graduation?
For
For me, after I graduate from college, I want to become a congresswoman. This has led me to be involved in organizations like Talent Capital. For students who want to pursue things like this, whether it be like getting involved within politics or community service-oriented projects, I would make sure to inform them on opportunities such as how to write a cover letter, how to write a resume, or even how to apply to internships or how to find them, how to up your LinkedIn. I want to have these workshops to allow students to have these opportunities to succeed. Overall, students like me who are first generation, we come to college and we don't know how to navigate through these things, and I want to make sure that the things that I've learned, I'm able to pass on to students here at Berkeley. I thank you, Kaylee, for that answer. I think it is a great idea to have these type of workshops for students to understand how these things work and for preparation in the fields to come. But I also think it's very important to have experience and first-hand experience from professionals, hosting speaker series, hosting panels, having these people come in, having our professors, people who we're connected to on a day-to-day basis, come in and speak to us on a personal level. I also think it's important to utilizing the resources that we have, whether it's through parents, through teachers, through organizations, and come together and work and collaborate with different communities so that we can work to build the break the intersectional boundaries that not all students get to experience. I also think I believe it is important.
Going to a school like Berkeley where it feels like everyone knows what they want to do with their life, it can definitely feel scary when you might feel like you're the only one who doesn't have a set path. As a student who started off as a pre-med student and then decided to pivot, I definitely felt lost at times, but there are different ways that we can engage those students' feelings. Right now, in my current position, I'm planning a series of grad school panels where we connect students with the different grad schools at Berkeley and have them learn about the different opportunities available to them within those grad schools. Most recently, we connected with the Berkeley School of Public Policy, and students had the opportunity to learn what it means to go into public policy after graduation.
As many of you are aware, the EECS department has been under fire after a professor made a misogynistic discussion post. What will you do to ensure learning and academic opportunities are welcoming and accessible to all students?
One of my platforms include lobbying for, contacting departments at the beginning of every semester and lobbying to them to suggest professors to include a section on DEI policies and xenophobia prevention and those sort of policies in their syllabi. And I think this is really important because as an international student and as a woman, I've heard people experience these sort of things in classroom and they don't know where to go to. And sometimes we have to just to hold professors accountable, and we have to give them opportunities to voice their experiences. And yeah, on that end. Thank you.
As your future senator, I intend to work with the SAO office and make sure that incidents like these, such horrific incidents where professors are behaving in inappropriate manners towards students or just spewing language that is not appropriate, I intend to work with them, and I want to implement trainings. I want to implement bias trainings as well as anti-blackness training as someone who is running on a Black excellence representation platform and who is a Black community endorsed candidate. I think it is very important that students of not just my community but all communities are represented but are also being advocated for. So I would want to work with exec offices who have that power to be a voice for students in terms of teaching and student-teacher relationships.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion within academic and professional opportunities is something that I'm really passionate about. Currently, I'm collaborating with the Lavender Alliance and other ACC senators on a panel on queerness in the workplace, and I'm also collaborating with Berkeley Career Engagement on their Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Career Fair, connecting underrepresented, marginalized student groups with different employers that would specifically cater to the needs of what you're looking for when you want to go into a DEI conscious company. And so I would love to continue doing projects like these. Collaboration is a big thing for me, and I think that together we can foster a more inclusive community here at Berkeley.
Some of you have touched on this already, but how do you plan to make academic and professional opportunities accessible to transfer, first generation, and non-traditional students?
I think it's important to recognize that academic and institutionalized barriers disproportionately impact marginalized communities, including first-generation students, low-income scholars, and people of color. And these disparities just exacerbate already existing inequalities found in higher education. As a result, this is why I plan to prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to promote equitable practices and foster a better representation among students. As the RSO co-exec in the Office of Senator Andrea Jimenez, I have had meetings with OASIS advisors trying to advocate for ways to make the selective recruitment process more holistic and considerate of the struggles that minority students face, and I will continue to have these conversations with administration.
Thank you. Could you repeat the question really quickly, please? Sure. How do you plan to make academic and professional opportunities accessible to transfer, first generation, and non-traditional students?
As a first generation student myself, there's this really cool project that I want to work on if elected into office. What I want to do is making sure that first generation students have the financial resources to make sure that they're able to succeed academically. Through this, I want to make sure that we have a cultural event within the first semester of the school year where we're able to raise funds, and then in the second semester of the school year, we're able to have students apply for a scholarship where they're able to fund, again, their academic success or their academic endeavors to eventually lead them to success within their what they want to accomplish here at Berkeley. Thank you.
I think a lot of times it's about knowing what opportunities are out there, and a lot of times newsletters, workshops, I think they're really important, but they've been happening every year. So what we need to think about is how to maximize a more diverse participation in these events, maybe through collaborations with other senators, and how do we try to promote these events to people who are traditionally disadvantaged in the society, who do not have the connections and the networking opportunities of some of the other students, and how do we get these resources out there to these people? Thank you.
So first of all, I would focus on promotion of these events. I would love to connect with the transfer representative on getting the information about these resources out there to all of our Berkeley community. I know that because of the way that pre-professional boards are on campus, it can feel like they're gatekeeping their resources. And if you're not in it in your first year, you feel kind of locked out. So I would work on fostering friendships with the leadership of these organizations to make those resources accessible to all students, including our non-traditional, and transfer students.
Moving on to our last question for this group. How will we help students from smaller departments gain the same opportunities available in larger departments?
I believe giving them access to ASUC positions, spaces, and as I touched on before, in those resource guides that I would like to implement, just putting it out there that everything is available to them. But I also want to hear what students want to see done. I want to interview people. I want to have panels and see what people really want and see the change that can come out of it. I think it's really important that all students are represented, not just big orgs or orgs that have been around for many years. I think that students need to have the ample resources presented to them, and the way I'm going to do that is by being that voice, reaching out to them, prioritizing social media presence and everything that we need for that.
I believe that organizations, big or small, need to have a voice within the ASUC and also need to have the opportunities and the resources that are provided to larger organizations. I think that having a more collaborative and open forum, say a roundtable or a caucus for clubs, whether they be in specific communities like pre-health or pre-law, to have the forums who speak about problems that they might have within their clubs, as well as opportunities that they can gain from larger organizations or from the ASUC in general.
To foster successful and expansive professional and academic opportunities, I think it's absolutely essential that the ASUC and its representatives maintain close contact and communicative channels with RSOs on campus. I plan on collaborating with existing pre-law organizations such as Phi Alpha Delta and the Latin American Pre-Law Society to go over topics like how to prepare for an interview, or how to customize your resume, or how to, I don't know what else, but just general topics that will benefit most students. But I also want to promote pre-law internships and scholarship opportunities by hosting informational sessions and application workshops, once again in collaboration with these RSOs to help boost their credibility and their presence on campus. Thank you.
We're going to take one question from the audience.
Why is it important to you and your identity that everyone on campus, regardless of group, regardless of ethnicity, gets the same educational opportunities?
So even though most of us here are community endorsed, we choose to represent different communities. At the end of the day, we are all candidates for UC Berkeley Senate positions, not just Black community senator positions, queer community senator positions. We're here to represent all students, and even though I aim to prioritize the Black community and I want my other fellow candidates to prioritize their communities, we also have to come together and work towards prioritizing the Berkeley community as a whole, and with that becomes collaboration, communication, and cooperation. And we need to make sure that everybody has the ample opportunity to get those resources, but we also need to understand the intersectionality of different communities for people who have larger privileges than others, and making sure that everything is accessible to everybody.
Thank you for your question. I take inspiration from my mother. She was a refugee from Vietnam, and when she was going through college, she didn't speak English, and a lot of the opportunities were really hard for her to access. And I know that's a shared experience among a lot of students here at Berkeley. Regardless of your ethnicity or identity group, there are shared common struggles that you have as a marginalized group on campus. And as also a person of color myself, I understand standing up to the face of discrimination, and together with our academic and professional opportunities, we can lift each other up and build a better Berkeley for each other. Thank you.
Like I said, in regard to professional opportunities, people coming from different backgrounds may have level access. That I think it's important to understand that here those unique challenges and needs. But at the same time, like I said, workshops and these like career fairs, they happen every year, and what needs to be done is to maximize the more diverse participation. Because a lot of times when a senator hosts a sort of event, it happens that they only attract the population of their community. And even though these workshops are universally capable, they're supposed to be designed to help everyone. That's why I think more collaborations should help to address this phenomenon, and we need to maximize the more diverse participation in these universally applicable events. Thank you all. Can we get one more round of applause for the speakers? Prevention and public safety. Safety is at the forefront of many students' and parents' minds, especially after gunfire rattled the campus earlier this semester. These candidates aim to expand resources for sexual violence and sexual harassment survivors and generally improve the safety of all on campus. You can all introduce yourselves now.
Hi everyone, my name is Max Rodman. I'm a sophomore here at Berkeley, majoring in political science and minoring in public policy, and I'm running for ASUC Senate. And I'm running on platforms of Greek life safety and support, religious equity, and RSO support. Right now, I am the vice chair of the ASUC Senate, and I'm also the chief of staff to the executive vice president. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Katia Yazani and I am a Mexican and Persian second-year student here at Berkeley. I am running for an ASUC senator on 4 platforms: multicultural awareness and inclusivity, SPSH prevention and student safety, women empowerment, and student wellness. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abigail Verino. I'm the Filipinx Community Endorsed Senator, and I'm here today because of the community that backs right behind me and is standing right beside me. I'm running on platforms of Filipinx community advocacy, professional opportunities and resources, and sexual violence, sexual harassment, prevention, and holistic wellness.
Hello everybody, I'm Nayeli Torada Vega and I'm running to be ASUC Senator. I'm a third-year political science major and I'm running on 3 main platforms, which are student success, Latinx representation, and campus wellness. However, with campus wellness, I recognize that we cannot have a safe campus unless the students themselves feel safe, which is why I will work to provide and expand resources, but also bring resources that already exist forward. And I believe I can do that together and as senator, so thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Clovette Tabak. I'm a junior transfer. I am running to represent all students at UC Berkeley. I am running to represent STEM and biomedical students, international and transfer students. Also, I am running to ensure safety on campus for all students, and also I am running on a platform to promote multiculturalism. Currently, I serve in the office of the president as a multicultural fund initiative intern, where I work with many clubs on campus. I'm trying to continue the vision of Cindy Roberts, the ASUC president currently, and also I am running for 100% diversity from factory farms. Thank you.
Yourselves, you can all take a seat. Many students expressed their frustration with administration following the delayed war meet after shots fired on Lower Sproul. How would you ensure there is timely communication when it comes to emergency situations?
Okay, this is an excellent question because this is a very fair concern. I know February 9th, 6 shots were fired into the air, and it took the administration 40 minutes to release a warning, and this is just completely unacceptable considering the fact that the warning was vague and did not really establish a shelter in place until after it was lifted. And I think this is a direct result of a lag of response from the Vice Chancellor administration. And I think the best way to provide more efficiency within this administration is to urge them and to collect testimonials and to bring these issues forward, because the administration needs to take our safety more seriously. This is unacceptable, and collectively we can make this known. Thank you.
Come on.
I currently serve as in the board of the Vice Chancellor, where I serve to talk about safety issues on campus for all students. Firstly, I want to say we need to keep them accountable for all students because we pay them to ensure our safety. We are the #1 public school in the country, and safety shouldn't be an issue for us here at UC Berkeley. So I will try by creating town hall meetings where we get to talk with the chief of police. I have very close personal contact with Chief Pittman, so we are going to create, if I'm elected as a senator, I'm going to create town hall meetings where we get to talk to Chief Pittman and the police department at UC Berkeley to ensure all students feel safe. And we need to keep them accountable. Accountability is the first issue I will tackle for our students here at UC Berkeley. Thank you.
Well, when it comes to issues of quick response, warn me, UCPD, it's all admin. So when you're talking about on-campus safety, ASUC senators have some formal powers, but we also have advocate powers with the administration. And our names carry a lot of weight, our titles carry a lot of weight. So what I would do, I've had experience working in the Senate office, I've had experience working as vice chair, working in an executive office, is I would use that position to advocate for quicker response to safety and more effective response to make sure that we do have better safety measures on campus.
Only 3 responses per question, sorry. What changes would you make, if any, to SVSH policies on campus?
Firstly, my SVSH prevention platform is running on the help and support of Bearline. Bearline is a hotline app where you can report any incident, any suspicions that you have at an event on campus or off campus. With Bearline, I hope to be able to change as many SVSH issues that we have here on campus and making sure that everyone has a way to explain the issues that they're having and what they need the help and support on.
I currently work as a peer educator at the Path to Care Center, and I've had so many wonderful opportunities to work firsthand with RSOs to ensure that all policies and any initiatives moving forward for the community are survivor-centered. In sharing this, I've worked from the ground up with these RSOs to see the building point of where these initiatives take place. Some SVSH policies I'd specifically like to focus on is the creation of identity-specific tailored workshops. As a peer educator at the Path to Care Center, I would have the opportunity to work on the research team where I can work with the communities to ensure that they are accurately represented in these tailored workshops and are accurately represented within this greater institution. Thank you.
Well, I'm running to represent Greek life, but at the same time, SVSH is not an issue that's unique to Greek life. So basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working to standardize risk practices, both in houses and also in RSOs, and other places on campus, where this is very much reality as well. So with standardizing these practices, we're going to make sure that trainings are enforced, that they're taken seriously, that we have a certain amount of at events sober monitors, people that are qualified to handle situations like this, and that we have the proper contact people in place. And along with this, trainings, making sure that people are aware and know how to deal with these situations. Also, like a huge issue at Berkeley, We need to make sure resources are available, like Jose's office has done an amazing job getting Bearline set back up. We're gonna make sure that people know about these resources as well. So.
This has already been addressed a little bit, but in the past year, there have been numerous efforts to make Greek life safer. What is one tangible idea you have to prevent SVSH in Greek life?
First, actually, can you repeat the question one more time, please?
In the past year, there have been numerous efforts to make Greek life safer. What is one tangible idea you have to prevent SVSH in Greek life?
Okay, firstly, as I mentioned, Bearline. Bearline is going to be something that we are working on and have already started here at Berkeley and will continue to do so. Secondly, there's the issues of drugs also in Greek life. I think that Narcan certification should be mandatory during GBO week. With that, we will be able to help so many more students in Greek life, and not even just in Greek life, in all Berkeley. Also, 2 weeks ago, I was tabling, and so many people were interested in getting Narcan educated and certified. If the students already want to get Narcan educated and certified, why aren't we giving them the opportunity to do that? That's why for GBO week, I will make sure that each student gets Narcan certified and educated. Thank you.
Firstly, I want to start by saying April is Sexual Prevention Month, so I want to shout out to April, so to the month of April. So firstly, when I came to Berkeley, I was part of the FAD for a while. So being in the FAD, I realized most the FAD lacked basic needs such as like condoms and other basic necessities to like help the FAD members and also people coming for parties. So I'll try to make FAD accountable. So each FAD it will be a requirement for them to have products such as the condoms and other necessities, so students will feel safe and to come to the parties. And also create monthly workshops with FAD shares, so to talk about sexual health and sexual prevention and sexual assault prevention. So that's my policy on that.
Something that I would like to highlight, especially for pertaining to Greek life, is ensuring that our students, our fellow friends, and our fellow classmates are able to get home safely from said party to their actual home. Investing in actual initiatives such as funding or paying back for reimbursements for transportation would be incredibly important to ensure that our students are able to get from location A to location B. Being able to sponsor these events through the Path to Care Center and utilizing various other opportunities on this campus would be able to ensure that our money is going where our mouth is, and we're actually able to hold this institution accountable for ensuring that our students are safe in the first place.
If elected, how would you support a student in your office who reported an act of SVSH?
So I think if I were elected senator, the approach I would take in this scenario would be to communicate, because I believe in cases of sexual assault, there's a really large emphasis on punishing the perpetrator versus giving empathy towards the victim. And so I think offering support in any way that I can, I want to be a figure that people would feel comfortable talking to. And I think this is a sentiment that I want to carry throughout the campus and provide support groups, because I think communication and understanding and empathy is equally as important as persecuting the perpetrator. Thank you.
So again, I am a peer educator at the Path to Care Center. So what I would say, if I had my Path to Care on, which is all the time, ensuring that folks understand the resources that Path to Care has, such as OPHD, the Office of Prevention of Harassment and Discrimination. However, I also want to preface that institutionally, OPHD hasn't been the best for students of color. So serving as a woman of color and myself, potentially in the ASUC Senate, I want to be able to prepare specific initiatives that are able to foster students of color to be able to be more comfortable when coming forward with stories of SVSH. I believe aftercare is incredibly important, and this looks like knowing what resources are, how to access them, and despite financial barriers or any basic needs issues with that, we are able to support these students with that. Thank you.
operations director of my house. So with me and a couple others in the house, we've actually had real life experience with these issues and dealing with occurrences of this. And so basically using that experience along with using experience making policy around SVSH in the ASUC is something that I would reference. I know all the resources available, and we would also in our office create an SVSH task force, which would basically work both to prevent SVSH in houses and in our sites around campus by increasing availability to existing trainings and education, but also being able to do some casework around this and help people navigate and find resources they need.
This is the last question. Recent protests on campus have become violent, raising concerns about student safety. What do you believe is the ASUC's role in affirming the right and safety of all students to protest?
Attending the ASUC Senate meetings these past month or the past few months this semester, I've realized that the lack of communication is what's leading to this unsafeness on campus. Of course, the protests, everyone has their sides and their opinions, and everyone should be able to have the right to say what they want, but there should be a communication between all students and communities, because if not, it's just going to lead to more and more and more violence, which is something that we do not want. So I believe that with communication, with transparency, not only in the ASUC, but between communities on campus, we will be able to create a more safe environment here in Berkeley. Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Recent protests on campus have become violent, raising concerns about student safety. What do you believe is the ASUC's role in affirming the right and safety of all students to protest?
So I think the role of the ASUC is to provide mediated dialogue. I think in this case, or the case that you're referencing specifically, I personally I can't relate to either side, but I know that it is equally important for both sides to be able to express their beliefs. And I think the way that a mediated dialogue works is that we start with common ground. We start with, it's important to be able to protest peacefully, and it's also important to protect students. And I think nothing is going to change unless we communicate and provide dialogue to whoever students who may disagree to prevent violence on campus and to keep students safe. Thank you.
Sorry, I did just really want to speak on this issue. The last two candidates who spoke are absolutely right. One of my platforms is religious equity, and as we've seen, especially this year, protests have revolved around different religious communities on campus. And I'm a member of the Jewish community, but I've been one of the very, very few point people who have kind of been able to communicate with these different communities. And something that we have seen is an incredible lack of communication. So what we're going to be doing is establishing an interfaith committee of basically every senator that associates with the religious community, and also using that interfaith committee to work alongside admin to increase safety measures and increase measures that make sure that students can protest, can have the free speech that they need and that they deserve, but that they can also do it safely 100%, because that is a right that students need to have.
Thank you guys. I'm going to take a question from the audience. Justin?
What's going on? I noticed that, or at least rape and sexual assaults are generally recognized as crimes of power. What environments on campus do you specifically believe cultivate this behavior, and how do you plan on holding them accountable to stop perpetual sexual violence?
To be honest, I think that most cases and most things that happen here on campus are women are the victim, which sort of goes into my other platform, which is women empowerment. And with this, I hope to focus on bettering the communities of women, because women all deserve to have a voice. And I'm not trying to say that men only are the people that are raping. I'm sorry, that is not going to be true. Everyone has different stories to tell. But I will say that majority of those cases that we see here at Berkeley are women, so I firmly believe that women have the majority of the cases and are victims.
you for the question. I would agree with you that sexual assault happens because it is deeply rooted in culture. And I think specifically at Berkeley, something that we can do, a step that we can take, is to condemn the people in our own life that we know, or keep people accountable when they do commit such crimes. Like the professor is a great example. Like we need to take direct action to condemn these professors. Otherwise, we are setting the precedent that it's okay to objectify women and it's okay to see people as objects. And I think, again, condemning is the first step in changing the culture and making it safer for students on campus. Thank you.
With this question, I believe that education is the first step. Today is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month, the very start of it, and throughout the rest of this month, we're going to see so many different initiatives, from tabling on Sproul to the different offices and resources to pushing all these initiatives. However, the best way I see that we can be able to mitigate this issue is to understand that it is not simply just a topic and an issue, but understanding SVSH and how it intersects to our identity is a way of life, and understanding how we can be better citizens, not only here within this campus, but within the Berkeley community. Education is at the root of everything, understanding this university that we came from for the Third World Liberation Front. It is important to continue to educate, to utilize resources such as the Students Advocates Office, the Path to Care Center, and so many more to be able to give this education to the communities that need it. Thank you.
Applause for this group of candidates. Environmental wellness.
So our final group, we have Aiden Reading, China Dove, Isha Chander, Kayla Tafor, and Susan Reese. Okay, candidates, now you will have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and present your platforms.
Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Tafor. I'm a second year at Berkeley, and I'm studying legal studies with a minor in public policy. I currently work,
Is the mic on? Okay, there we go. I currently work as a chief of staff for a current senator. I work as a DEI associate in the office of vice president, and I also work for the Sexual Violence Commission. Additionally, I'm running on 3 platforms. It's to be an advocate for the Educational Opportunities Program here at Cal, SPSH prevention and harm reduction initiatives, and also sustainability. Additionally, not a platform of mine, but something that I'm really passionate about why I'm running is I want to be the first Indigenous and Native senator.
Hi, my name is China Duff, and I'm running as the Environmental Community Endorsed Senator. For the past 6 years, I've been planning statewide climate strikes in the state of Rhode Island to protest the build-out of fossil fuel infrastructure and push for a just and equitable clean energy transition. And for the past 3 years here at Berkeley, I've been doing the same work, and also working with organizations across campus, faculty, and administration to work for a Berkeley-specific Green New Deal, working in the ECO office under Senator Ashi Mishra.
Hi, my name is Isha Chander, and I'm running for ASUC Senate to push for a greener campus, advocate for my communities, improve our student services, and transform the ASUC into an institution of advocacy that can actually address student issues and student rights violations. I have the experience. I'm currently Chief of Staff and Office and President. I've worked in the ASUC. I understand the entry points to change, and I'm ready and willing to push for so much more. Let's get back to our roots and look to the future together. Thank you so much to Daily Cal for organizing this.
Hello everyone, my name is Aiden Reading. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am majoring, I'm junior I'm majoring in Eurobio and political science with a minor in QT plus studies. My 4 platforms are LGBTQ plus representation, climate justice, campus safety, and educational opportunities. I am former president of the Human Rights Watch in Los Angeles, and with my experience in advocacy, my work in policy, and my experience in science and neurobio, I hope to help make the campus a better place for all the student body.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for sticking with us to the very end of this debate. My name is Susan Reese and I'm running to be your next ASUC Senator. My 3 platforms are housing, sustainability, and accessibility, environmentalism, as well as harm reduction and safety. Students at Berkeley deserve to have a campus where they're accounted for and where their contracts and what they agree to are upheld. And in that, I hope to continue the work I've already started on a larger scale. As the Berkeley Tenants Union endorsed senator candidate, I'm excited to see what's next.
Great, so we'll get started with the first question. What is one area you think that ASUC falls short in terms of sustainability, and how do you address these issues if elected?
One of the main areas that I know that the ASUC falls short in terms of sustainability is our ocean safe status in our dining halls. We used to be considered ocean friendly, and recently, due to dishwashers not working and the reliance on disposable utensils, we're no longer ocean safe, and this is such honestly an easy fix, but people just don't push for that to happen. In addition to that, being able to offer students more sustainable options in dining halls, I plan to enforce BOA's resolution in support of sustainable procurement choices and continue pushing for options that are environmentally friendly.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
Turn the mic off. Well, one thing is college campuses are responsible for 22 million pounds of food waste every school year. And so I think it's really important for Berkeley to address food insecurity and food waste. And I think that is a sustainability issue and a financial needs and basic needs issue as well. In terms of how I want to address that is I want to incorporate a section into the Berkeley mobile app called Bear Bites, which would address all catered events here on campus with excess food. So if there was an event here today that had pizza, we'd be able to have a live platform to address there's an excess amount of food. And all students on campus would have the opportunity to come and get free food. So I think that's a huge issue that we need to address and has so many different aspects to how it can help the community here at CAF. Thank you.
I firmly believe that the fight for environmental justice is not a lone battle. And I think an area where the ASUC can improve is working more coordinated to push for more environmental policies at the university level. I'm so happy to be on the stage with all these people that are so passionate about environmentalism. And I think environmentalism requires an approach from many different perspectives, whether it be understanding the problems with overfishing, fighting for greater spaces on campus, learning indigenous land stewardship practices. I hope that everyone on the stage gets elected so that we can continue to push for environmentalism, because I think it's the most pressing issue of our time, and I think it's time for us to address climate change as a unified body in the ASUC. Thank you.
The student housing crisis is just as much an environmental issue. What is one tangible idea you have to address sustainability in student housing?
Watching everyone speak today, I've heard a lot of people say if elected. For me, this isn't something that I'm going to do only if elected. These are all initiatives that I've already been working on and will continue regardless if I'm elected, but this will just give me a larger platform to do so. A sustainability initiative that I'm working towards is renovating Unit 3. Currently, for example, laundry costs so much more there because they use more water because the piping is so old. This is such an easy fix. If we were to renovate it, it wouldn't use as much water, which is more environmentally friendly. In addition to that, the student access to these buildings is not equal among different groups of people, and because of that, I've been working to get the demographics of each residence hall from the administration in order to make sure that each student has access to reliable standards and opportunities.
Awesome, yes, I think this is a great question, especially considering our environment our campus has a huge huge role to play in making sure our campus is environment friendly. Two things that I hope that are tangible things I think I have performed in my campaign as well is accountability and education. I think those things both go hand in hand. Education on these topics of climate change, climate justice, and things that are happening in our day-to-day lives that we should be held accountable for. Not just us, but also our representatives and our elected officials. Us being up here fighting for climate justice is something that we are passionate about, and I think something that we can do to help make sure educational opportunities are available to everyone for climate justice is to help teach these things, to educate it, to then hold everyone accountable. And that's how we can make real change.
One tangible thing that I think can be implemented in all the housing and on-campus buildings is having discharge disposal bins in every restroom on campus. For those that don't know what a discharge disposal bin is, it's if you were to have use a needle to administer your medicines such as diabetes, you don't have a proper way to dispose of them currently on campus. If you were just to put those needles in the current bins that we do have, it's a biohazard and it's not the proper way to dispose of those utensils. So I think that's a bare minimum that the campus can institutionalize and change, and I think it's completely feasible and it will make a huge impact on the community here at Cal. First of all, I think it's a bare minimum, and we deserve more than that in general, so that would be the first thing and a tangible initiative that I would implement if elected. Thank you.
A few of you already touched on this next question. How do you work with Cal Dining to make its services more environmentally conscious?
So, as director of the Green New Deal projects team on campus, we're currently working to implement the Berkeley-specific Green New Deal, as I've mentioned before. One of the key components, in addition to housing, construction, and land use, is a food and waste section. And we've been working with the Housing and Dining Sustainability Advocates, or HADSTA, and also administration and faculty in the dining halls themselves. So we're working to push for more plant-based options. As you've heard, a lot of the communities and organizations on campus are already working towards this, like Berkeley Organization for Animal Advocacy. So I'm working to continue to amplify these voices through the Berkeley-specific Green New Deal to bring these housing and dining needs to the forefront of my campaign.
I am tired of seeing the trash around GBC. One of the main parts of my platform is working with other existing groups, as China said, to push for more zero waste practices on campus. I think improper waste sorting and I think not frequent enough servicing are part of the two major issues with waste management on our campus. And as an ASUC Senator, I want to work to push for more zero waste practices. The university committed to a zero waste goal by 2020. Currently about 54% of our waste goes to municipal landfill still, so we still have some ways to go when it comes to our zero waste policy, and that's something I want to work towards as an ASUC Senator.
As I mentioned briefly earlier, climate justice has been something I've been passionate about my whole life. Personally, for me, someone asked me a question a couple years ago when I was working with the Climate Task Force with Human Rights Watch in Los Angeles. They asked me, what are you doing to help fix our climate? What are you doing to help the injustices in our environment to do better? Personally, I didn't think I was doing enough. I give up meat. I know that's crazy. I'm not asking you guys all to give up meat, but there's a lot of things that we can do. I've been plant-based for 7 years, because 60% of all the carbon emissions that are released in our environment are from the process of making meat. And like I said again, I'm not telling you guys to give up meat, but there's small things we can do in our dining halls and as the students to be held accountable to making sure that our carbon footprint in the environment is as limited as possible. And like I said, education and then accountability.
As Isha mentioned, UC Berkeley failed to meet its zero waste by 2020 goal. What are some ways you intend to hold campus accountable for its sustainability goals?
When first arriving to campus, one of the main things I noticed when it came to disposal is that I take prescription medications, and I wasn't able to dispose of those pill bottles because our campus currently doesn't offer recycling for plastic number 5, so pill bottles, take-out containers, etc. Since then, I've been in communication with the Berkeley Ecology Center, the Green Initiative Fund on campus, as well as other student organizations to increase options for disposal of these things that aren't currently disposed of, such as like what Kayla mentioned with the sharps. I plan to continue my relationships with these groups to continue pushing the administration to implement these things for students.
UC Berkeley currently has the goal to reduce carbon emissions 90% by 2045. Recently, the regents met on March 19th to 21st, and we got students to show up with written testimony to push the campus to reduce carbon emissions 95% by 2035. We're already doing this work in the office to push Berkeley's sustainability goals even further than they are currently. In addition to this, through my experience as an undergraduate representative on the Clean Energy Campus Advisory Committee, pushing campus to electrify, and also as an undergraduate representative in the Center for Responsible Businesses Student Advisory Board, I have experience talking with the administration, but I also have experience, as mentioned before, protesting and through direct actions. So these strategic methods of either communication or direct action will get us to reach these goals.
Hi, so one thing I think that Berkeley can do to mitigate those issues is we can implement compostable wipes at our recreational centers, starting with RSF and Memorial. And I think that's completely feasible. All we'd have to do is change the vendor and talk with administration. And I think that's a small but very impactful way to reduce our waste here on the Berkeley campus.
Moving to our final question for this group, environmental wellness is just one component of student well-being. How do your policy goals impact the broader student experience?
Environmental wellness. That categorizes a bunch of things. To me, that means mental health, that means climate justice. That's more than just our environment. Our mental health is our well-being. As a DSP student here on our campus, I think that the DSP accommodations and the resources we have as DSP students are very, very limited, and I think everyone should have access to them. I've been holding our administration accountable for this to make sure that everyone has access for DSP if they have the accommodations to do so in the rightful manner. I think doing this and improving our communication and our participation with all of our student body. Participation, I think, is so extremely important to make sure our students are also showing up to make change. Our student body is so diverse, and we can make our elected officials be held accountable.
I love this question because everything I'm working on is to make sure that students have their own personal environment accounted for. As I said, my platforms are housing, safety, and environmentalism. And I lived in Unit 3 last year. I didn't have heat, I didn't have hot water. I didn't feel safe because there weren't AEDs in my building. I didn't feel prepared or just safe or accounted for as a student. Due to this, we need to take into account the bottom basic needs of students so they can achieve all of the rest of their goals. You can't achieve your professional goals, your academic goals, if you don't have your basic things that you were supposed to have when you came to this school accounted for already, and too many students aren't receiving those right now. I plan to continue the work I'm doing in my organization, the University Housing Rights Organization, as well as my skills as a certified EMT to administer Stop the Bleed courses to students free of charge.
A big part of environmental wellness is, excuse my voice, being connected to our natural world. One of my platforms is planting California native plants and trees on and around campus. I truly believe in the values of a greener campus, creating better mental health, better mental wellness, and I believe that planting California native plants around campus increases biodiversity and just has a whole wealth of benefits for our campus. Personally, I always get my friends together for Arbor Day to plant a tree, and it's something that brings my community together, and it's something that I think Berkeley as a whole could benefit from. Community events that really get people out and in the community, getting your hands dirty. That's what I believe environmentalism is. Thank you.
We'll now take one question from the audience. Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest issues is bioplastics used in dining halls and campus eateries that are not being industrially composted, therefore being a large portion of our waste, but being advertised as environmentally friendly, like the cups we have from the GBC and such. How would you guys advocate and make a change to this issue?
So through conversations that I've had with some other organizations on campus, I believe HASDA and some other folks as well are currently working on an initiative to basically eradicate all the compostable plastic that you see on campus, because yeah, it's crazy that everybody thinks that all the foodware is compostable when in reality it just ends up in the landfill. So there are organizations currently working on this issue. We're building that into the Berkeley specific Green New Deal, and we're hoping to institutionalize a lot of those elements. So they're working to put, instead of having compostable plastics, having all reusable ware in all our on-campus dining halls.
As I previously mentioned, I've been in contact with the Berkeley Ecology Center as well as organizations on campus to try to increase not only the options for disposing our, single-use ware, but in addition to just making what we use better. I plan to continue my conversations with organizations such as Surfrider, the Green Initiative Fund, to allocate more funds towards organizations that are already working towards that goal of limiting these non-actual compostable things. And again, continue that communication to see it all the way through.
Thank you so much for that question. I think that is so important to make sure that as elected senates, we have tangible options and we have tangible things that we can put forth to make sure that our campus is being held accountable. I hope to use both of my majors in my academia in both political science and bio to first educate. I feel like in order to actually implement these tangible resources to make sure bioplastics are being used, I think we have to educate first to show people how important it is to protect our environment and our well-being of the student body at all costs. I think once educating, then we can put into plans and help supporting. We see our university representatives and our administration, they have so much money, but yet they're so cheap. We have to do this funding and we have to advocate for these resources so that we can put the funding to the correct things to make sure that our climate is kept greener. Thank you.
Thank you. As my other candidates have said and have put well, I would continue to work with organizations that, wait, am I allowed to go? Sorry. What is that? Sorry. Okay, my bad. As Ada and Susan and trying to have put, I would work with organizations that are currently already putting these things in place, as well as the Eco Office. And there's also, Senator Hadife is also working on a resolution right now to address reusable plastics within the Berkeley community. And something that I've been told growing up was, if you take care of the land will take care of you, as my family has worked on a lot of policy and environmental work with our tribe and the community surrounding it. And I think the university does a great job at acknowledging the land, but it doesn't yet acknowledge the people and its needs. And so I think that if we do that and get the community support and voice heard, we can continue projects like getting our bioplastics here on campus. Thank you. Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause to our final leaders. You guys can shuffle off if you want. Thank you again. Thank you all for coming out to our ASUC Senate candidate debate nights. We hope that this event has helped you learn more about each candidate to make informed decisions when voting opens April 8th. Make sure to come on Friday at Genetics and Plant Bio, room 100, same time, 6:30 to 9:30, to hear from presidential, executive vice president, and other candidates. Yeah, hope to see you there. Thank you for coming.